Hello everybody, it's me Michael Chu. Welcome back to PetrolHead SimRacing for another course-fueled adventure at Suzuka, this time at round 3 of the PHSR Aquila Championship. So, kicking off 15 minutes of qualifying, while these guys get their outlaps finished up, it's probably best I tell you more about the drivers, what they're driving, and the state of the championship. As Kibovic streaks ahead to try and get the best clean air, the proclaimed clean air. I've never really felt it myself in this simulator, but other people say it's there, so I'm just going to use that as a factor to talk about. Also as a factor to waffle for until these 14 minutes come up before our first round of lap times. But in any case, Kubovic is out in front, and people are following him out as they get their tires warmed up and their cars acquainted to this racetrack in Japan. So more about the Aquila, right? They're basically an call it an LMP4 if it existed. Like, you know, the prototypes, the Le Mans prototypes. These are basically a mini prototype. They have a little bit of a. They have flappy pedal gearboxes, traction. They usually have traction control and ABS, but they don't. To make this a little bit harder on the professionals here. Or by that I mean the regulars of the server. But not we chose the Aquila in particular for this championship to make it starter pack friendly, so it's more accessible to new users. We've had a bit of a shortage of that, so in a way here we are at Suzuka. So of course I got a bit ahead of myself there. The Aquila is basically an LMP4 prototype if it existed. The punchy engine, no traction control or ABS now, but it used to. They have wings and front splitters, so they generate a minute amount of downforce, and they generate enough torque in their engine to the four-cylinder engine to actually generate enough wheel spin to spin if you're too trigger happy to respond. So there was Kibovic crossing the finish line to start his first flying lap. So while they're sorting that out, I'd probably tell you the benchmark lap times. That the fastest lap times everyone on the grid right now has achieved in qualifying for all 18 drivers. Only 15 of those have actually set lap times, but we'll see who qualifies and we'll see who doesn't. Christian was the fastest guy on the track in practice, with a lap time of 2 minutes, 6 seconds and 9 tenths. So that 206.941 is the fastest lap of practice, and that is the pace and possibly Cubo's target for today's qualifying session, as he sets first sector of 52 seconds, .1. And then the guy in second is Photosysoglu, 2 tenths behind, with 2 minutes, 7 seconds and 1 tenth, 0.14. And then Polyepry in third, half a tenth behind Photos. Then Matty Renian with a 207.39 is around half a second off the pace, just about if you round it off. And then Ricardo Costa is 6.5 tenths off in fifth with 207.5. The modal lap time appears to be around 207.4, 207.5-ish. Like, that's around what our midfield is going to be comprised of. And then Sebastian Gunther in seventh is set at 207.6. And then everyone else has been setting to late 207s and early 209s. And so let's see what the first lap time from Christian Kubovic, our fastest runner in practice, is. He sets a 206.703. So that's faster than his practice time by a very big margin. 2/10 faster than his fastest lap time in practice. And we have 5 other people who's qualifying now, so let's check him out. It's Ramashi Renian in second now, with 6/10 off the pace, and then Fotozisiglu claims third with Andy Darnell fourth, Sebastian Günther fifth, and Rano Berger at the back in sixth place, where Timo Reiter takes the new back of the grid with seventh, now eighth, where Hiri Kurtochvil goes into seventh place, and now eighth, with Taksonyi in P6 now, overtaking Rano Berger in seventh, but not last. Plenty of other people still need to set their lap times, and this is a very tricky circuit to get a quick lap time on. Concerning the track limits, they're not really... They say it's on the starter pack, but it's not really a beginner's track at all. It's very technical and requires an utmost understanding to get correct, such as Kubovic did. 9 minutes left. So our current gap from first to last is 6.1 seconds. I think that's pretty nice, but not counting Timo Reiter, the gap between first and eighth is 2.7 seconds, so it's relatively close, but it's going to be hard to be keeping it consistent here, Suzuka, due to how technical it is and how your braking points may deviate as the tires get older, or due to the dirty air, the magical dirty air in under braking, could hurt some people. But Sebastian Günther's getting a faster lap time. Let's see how he pulls it off. It's a 2:07, 2:08.3 and goes fourth fastest ahead of Andy Darnell by 3/10. Let's see what other people can answer to that. It's Will McCone fourth now, and we have a spinner at the last sector. Taksonyi manages to dodge him. The 256 car of Timo Reiter, he had to go back into the pits and reset his car, but thankfully he didn't hurt anyone on a flying lap. He managed to keep it off the track, off the racing line, and that is Hiri Kurtochvil gone into fifth, pushing down Sebastian Günther all the way down to sixth, and Andy Darnell in seventh. Gabriele Taphooks is now in P10 following his first banker lap, and Ricardo Costa follows suit in 11th. Bruno Machado in a P11, no, in P12, and Timo Reiter P13 and last. It's a rapid first sector from Christian Kubovic. He can go faster even though he's on pole. He wants to hit the nail on the head, Thierolf style. Very wide off that exit, and he invalidates his lap time, but I'd imagine that he was going for another even faster pole time than he was already set. Nobody seems to have gotten a good lap in, but here's Will McCone now, fighting another car. It's Waco Coles, side by side on the straight. They're both trying to get a good quali time in, but they're going to be hindering each other now. Will has the opportunity to maybe get second on the grid, maybe pass Renian for the second spot on the front row, but I was wondering if Waco Coles might be jeopardizing that. As Daniel Jones and one of our nearest drivers set to P14. It's on the last row with Timo Reiter. Timo Reiter is only slower by around half a tenth. Some host of people exiting the pits in the 256 of Timo Reiter sitting on the grass as to not hurt anyone. Just passing them on the start-finish straight. That's very commendable. That was not Timo Reiter. This is Timo Reiter, as he's going on for another improvement to his flying lap. Navigating that chicane. And that was the final step towards completing a lap of this racetrack. Let's see how he improves. 2:06, 7, 8, 9, 2010, to 11.2, and that is enough by a few seconds to beat Daniel Jones to the punch on the better line. Actually, one row ahead of him. No, on the same row still. Because do you know how I just love maths and logic? Pondering the mysteries, the great mysteries that I don't understand. But anyway, 4 minutes and a half left to go. Kubovic is in the lead on pole with 206.7, and Mascherinian's on 207.3 is the next fastest car on the first row with them. Potasistical is in third, Sebastian Gunther is in fourth, and Will McCone in fifth, with Melvin Brandt kicking it up in sixth. Here, Kurtajville getting a very middling result in seventh, Andy Darnell following him home in that same row in eighth. Ricardo Costa in ninth, Taksoni in 10th, Rhino Berger on one of his latest returns to sim racing. Round of applause for Rhino Berger. He's in 11th, and Gabriele Tapux joins him on that grid row in 12th, with Bruno Machado 13th, Volinets 14th, Timo Reiter 15th, beating Daniel Jones to second last. Who is in last? That being Daniel Jones. Antonio Phantom, Polly Epri, and Walco Coles have not qualified yet, and is starting to get a bit late now. They need to start putting in a banker lap to try at least get somewhere in the midfield, or else that might not materialize. There's about a little time to finish your lap, and then one more after that, and then qualifying is over. So I'd strive to get some kind of banker on the grid, or else he might be out-qualified by Daniel Jones with the 2:12.8. That's a new fourth place runner. It's Polly Epri, who's managed to finally put a good lap together. He has gone fourth fastest on the second row next to Will McCone. It's a very beneficial spot, and Azhiri Kurtajville goes fifth fastest ahead of Fotis Isiglu. It looks like Tonio Phantom's about to set a lap time as well. He's hustling. He might have time for one more lap after that. Renyan was only 2/10ths off of Christian Kubovic's first sector time. See how he fares going into the end of the second sector. Sweeping right-hander. The right amount of brake and the right racing line is crucial around here, more than anywhere else in this track. Onto the back straight. Passing that dumb blop sign, he clocks in at 1:39.2, half a second off of Christian Kubovic's lap time. But if he puts in a very, very good final sector, he might be able to improve by at least a 10th. Oh, he spins! Almost got hit by the crosswall there. He's blocking the exit onto the start-finish straight as Kubovic comes racing by. That's Dominic Taksoni racing by to finish his final lap of the qualifying. Let's see where he ends up. Does not improve, unfortunately. He stays in P11 and begins in the midfield. 11th out of 19 drivers. So there's 1 minute left to go. There's only lap time. There's only one more lap time to be had out of this, and that's not even to start and finish. It's only to finish it, and that's if you're lucky. Polly Epri on the hunt for one more lap. Goes third fastest ahead of Will McCone. Well done. He manages to put it ahead of him on the second row, getting the optimal racing line into turn one for the race. This is important. As Daniel Jones crosses the line and stays 17th fastest. And there's Sebastian Gunther on a green first sector, but the lap times are starting to finish up now. I don't think there's going to be much time left to finish to his lap time, unfortunately. Sebastian's going to have to finish 7th. No, start 7th. If he had to finish there, that wouldn't be quite how the race was worked. Then this would be called a time attack. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Christian Kipovic is in 1st place, with Maciej Renian joining him 2nd on the grid. Pauli Eperi is in 3rd place after a last-minute banger of a lap time. And Will McCone is in 4th. Jiri Krachachvili gets in 5th on a very good lap on his part. Fotis Isoglu in 6th. Sebastian Gunther 7th. Andy Darnell 8th. Brandt is 9th. And Ricardo Costa caps off the top 10. And I never did tell you what the championship is stacking up as. Not properly, anyway. I need to tell you about that. So, in terms of the championship, Christian Kipovic is our championship leader. Quite fitting, as he's on pole for today. And one of his team cars is on the start-finish straight, reversing. That's Kipovic trying to get that perfect standing start. He's trying to figure out how to play that clutch pedal just right for that standing start. But anyway, Andy Darnell's in 2nd place in the championship. Not far behind, under 10 points. So just to get a bit of a perspective for what the points gaps are, Christian Kipovic is 94 points. Andy Darnell is 87 points. With Will McCone in 3rd only having 62. But the battle for 3rd is also very, very close, with Sebastian Gunther in 4th having 60, so 2-point gap to 3rd and 4th. Then to 5th as well, Melvin Brandt is 6 points away from Gunther as well. And Renian is also 50 points, so Renian is also getting very, very quick at this racetrack in particular, so he might be able to get the gap and points he needs out of a podium today. Should the results play in his favour, he might be able to get the better of the guys in front of him in the championship. So that's what the demographic is like for the championship at the minute. Just getting started. It's only round 3 of the championship. And of course with the team's championship, it exists. But it's pretty confusing, actually. We haven't really done a very a good job with the teams, admittedly. Like, we have the PetrolHead SimRacing B team in the lead with 185 points, and the PetrolHead SimRacing C team with 162 points. And then 3rd place is PHSR Slovakia, which is like the Slovakia the Slovakia cars are uniform in the way they're painted yellow. You'll be able to figure that out. But I need to figure out what the rest of the team colors are, because not all of them are uniform. Some of them are just running whatever. So one thing to note as well is that the C team are wearing the Gulf colors, like in a form of a Gulf livery. So that's something to keep an eye on. Like, the Gulf liveries are 2nd in the championship by around 20 points, roughly, give or take, like 23 points. But now we're in formation now, getting ready for our first standing start of the evening in Japan. So one thing to notice from Kibu on pole is he's mentioned in the Discord that he says, "I don't have race pace and I'm half sick. Sorry if I lose control, I'm not counting the hitbox of this fast car on this narrow track." Even though he's accustomed to an even bigger DTM 2020, but I digress. He might be sandbagging, but in any case, 15 minutes on the clock. Lights ahead of the drivers. Let's see what they can pull out of the hat. On the first race of this evening, it's green and Kipovic. seems to get a very good head start into the lead, but Renian's hot on his heels. Polyepari's gone up into third place, and Will McCone's lost position to Hiri Kurtochvil in third. Then goes side by side into the first corner. As Kurtochvil's in third momentarily, now he's in second, as Renian is jockeying for the position back, as Will McCone's trying to get something back, as Polyepari goes wide somewhat, and goes back into fifth place. Sebastian Gunther gets a very good start, and the way that he's keeping his only position. He's keeping his position that he started, fighting with Andy Darnell. Now he's lost it. Now Fotis Isoglu is next, and Andy Darnell's sights going in sixth place, and Polyepari's in fifth. Kubovic has a 3/10 gap from Matti Renian, as Hiri Kurtochvil is starting to drop back ever so slightly coming to the end of this first sector, 8/10 behind the leader. Very good surprise position for Hiri Kurtochvil. He's done very well to get this far, but Will McCone's behind him. It's a bit of a sandwich there for the Gulf cars and the C team. And something happened there with Hiri Kurtochvil. Oh, there's lots of cars come off in the hairpin. Machado's in it, Cole's in it. And that was a very big scuffle. And that's Hiri Kurtochvil being hit off by one of the Gulf cars versus Will McCone. And that is a very big accident. That sounded very bad. As Kurtochvil plummets down the order, I believe his car is irreparably damaged. Not sure what the state of the car is, or whether or not it's still running, but it's definitely the end of his podium chances here tonight. Very tragic first lap at Suzuka. But Kubovic, despite his sandbagging comment in the Discord earlier, he's still leading the race by 3/10 ahead of Matti Renian. Renian's not going to go down without a fight, but Will McCone surely needs to catch a break with them tripping each other up to try and get a leg up in this team's championship and to try and go for the race win here tonight, with Polyepari, his teammate, following in beside him. And so Epari slides in the first turn. He's off. Rejoining in turn 1. Sector 1. Gets going again. The yellow flag is cleared, but that is very catastrophic for the C team in the Gulf livery. They need to try and get a leg up in this championship, and a spin at the first corner certainly wasn't going to be the remedy for a 23 points deficit. Now it's up to Will McCone to try and get something out of this race, salvage something out of this points. So something to note for future, there are a few duplicate liveries, but if I ever see a livery from now on, like, you can have my full confidence that you can count them all as, you can count them as teammates. I'll be counting them as teammates. For example, Melvin Brandt in a 3-car train of teammates, like, that's all the PetrolHead SimRacing B team. They're all leading the championship, but the thing is, they're all 4th, 5th, and 6th in the race at the minute. So while it's a very good midfield finish for points, McCone has the upper hand in 3rd in terms of finishing position. And it's going to be McCone's plan to try catch up to Renian before he gets too far away out of the tow, and try get one leg up and form a second place. There's a bit of dust there going onto the last turn as the B team cars fight. One's on the inside, one's on the outside. Can't quite tell who's who. Deviates back onto the racing line. There's Brandt versus Andy Darnell. Now we have Renian versus Will McCone. Will McCone's gotten past very recently. He got a very good Titan move done. But the more they trip up, the more he's going to be deviating a little bit of a gap from Christian Kubovic. By this point, he's gotten 2 seconds on the cars behind. He's definitely not letting up due to this mystery sickness. As cars deviate wide onto the curbs, which reminds me of another thing. Race Commander is being turned on, so if you go off track far too many times, that's a move from one of the Gulf cars, overtaking Taxonye. That's going to be Rhino Berger who overtakes him, and then Taxonye, unfortunately... No, that's Rhino... Oh, that's... Who was that? That's Polyapri! No! I think that was Polyapri. That was a very weird incident. I may need glasses. Should have gone to Specsavers, eh? Oh, I'm Irish, that's what I do. I'm allowed a noise generator. That's Polyapri in P12 now, trying to make the move on Gabriele Tapbucks for P11. Side by side on the backstretch, someone's going to have to let up if they don't want to lose time. Certainly won't be Paul. He's confident he has it on the inside. Gets it done smoothly, if not a bit sketchy. But it's finished now. 8.5 minutes to go. There's a lot of dust there in the final sector. At the chicane, heavy braking zone. I don't know what happened there. Gabriele Tapbucks, unfortunately, has gone back to 17th place. I haven't seen that incident in full. I didn't get to see that on my monitor, but he's had a very big accident. Now he's joining Timo Reiter at the back. He needs to try and make these positions. He's got a mountain to climb in these next 8 minutes to go. And around halfway in to this race, we still haven't gotten any drive-throughs, which is good. Because that means people are respecting the track limits and not gaining unfair advantages. So, pure racing and no cheating. 7.5 on the dot, that's for half time. Kubovic is starting to slow down a bit. What used to be 2 seconds of a gap has now turned to 1 as Will McCone's starting to catch him up a bit and starting to lose Renian as well. Now Renian is starting to drop a small second back, and Waco Coles unfortunately has spun down to P19. And last. Now it's a battle between Melvin Brandt and Fotis Isklu, where Melvin might be a little bit of a faster car. Now is there going to be a bit of a team dynamic? Is Fotis going to think he's faster, and is he going to try let him past? Or what's going to happen here? It's entirely up to them. Or maybe a bit of a bump draft is required to catch the cars up into 3rd, 2nd and 1st. What I do know is Mandy Darnell's defending furiously into the hairpin from Sebastian Gunther and Ricardo Costa, namely. As Costa is trying to get past around Gunther on the inside line. He's got the slipstream. As Andy Darnell defends that of trying to furiously defend from Sebastian Gunther. Gunther has to back out. We're starting to get a few duos here. As Polyapri once again has spun, and he's almost held up his teammate Bruno Machado. Not sure if he's actually a teammate, but they're the same livery, so I guess so. So Melvin Brandt is still 4/10 away from Fotis Isklu. Right on his bumper. As Andy Darnell's deviating from the racing line to defend from Sebastian, he's definitely pretty quick this time around. But they've got a usually he'd be a little bit easier on him, but now they're fighting for a championship on opposing teams. So Renian's gone off. He's spun around onto the entry of the right-hander. He's made that rejoin very safe, but he's lost third place. Fotis Isoglu is now in third place, and now Melvin Brandt has an opportunity here to go for glory in terms of fighting his teammate for the final podium spot, because there's only room for one more, realistically, with this time gap. Defending into the hairpin goes Andy Darnell, and he still hasn't let Sebastian Gunther through, fighting for points here. This could be the difference between who gets the legs up and who stays where in the championship. This is a very, very big chance. But Andy's done a very splendid job so far. But one more thing to note is that Renian is also catching back up, so is Costa. So if they trip over each other anymore, then they might turn into a 4-car fight. As Vaku Coles goes off the track, unfortunately, in the final sector. And that's one more car, that's Mikola Volinets into the barrier, and unfortunately he is plummeting down the order. Now into 16th place, as he rejoins the track in 17th. Antonio Phantom manages to jump him, but now it is, as I predicted, a 4-car fray. Andy Darnell and Sebastian Gunther spins out on the exit of the corner and almost beaches himself in the corner. His tires are absolutely lit up, no grip whatsoever, over torque, and no traction control certainly didn't help him, and has gotten the better of Sebastian Gunther and the Gulf livery teams. Very, very one saving grace, apart from Will McCone, in terms of points finishes. This is going to be a little bit bigger of a gap now. Now it's back to 2 cars with Andy Darnell versus Renian. Renian used to be in third, mind you. 2 minutes to go. Roughly one more lap. Andy Darnell has been defending non-stop for around 7 minutes. As he goes to the right-hand side of the track to go onto the defensive line, Renian goes on the outside to try and overtake. As Daniel Jones goes off, and we're still side by side going into turn 3. And Renian ends up backing out, but Andy Darnell is definitely feeling the pressure now with 1.5 minutes to go. And Ricardo Costa has joined the fray, and Ricardo is also out of the fray. As soon as I say that, commentator's curse, I guess. But yeah, he's in his 10th now, unfortunately. It's a 2-car fray, once again, between Matthew Renian and Andy Darnell. Sorry about that. So Sebastian, who spun earlier, is now trying to find a way past Taksonyi in this final stage of the race. As Tonio Phantom spins once again, maybe Mikola Volinets can find a way back now. And Mikola gets away past. One more position up for Mikola Volinets and his team. 30 seconds left on the clock, and Dominic has lost out to Sebastian in 8th place. And I think there's going to be one more lap here, because Christian might be able to cross the line fast enough, but I don't know whether or not this is going to be one more lap left to go, or Yeah, it's going to be the final lap as Photosystically goes home in 3rd place, McCone in 2nd, and Melvin Brandt comes home in 4th place, with Andy Darnell still trying to fight him off. Andy's actually fighting off Rhino Burger, believe it or not. Very, very close indeed. Very nearly 5th place. A mighty, mighty performance. Fine, none other than Rhino Burger. Renian couldn't jump Randy Darnell in time. As Bruno Machado comes on P15. We still have a few backrunners to unfold, but our top finishers and our top 10 is Christian Kubovic in 1st, McCone 2nd, Fotis 3rd, Melvin Brandt 4th, Andy Darnell 5th, and Rhino Burger 6th, Matty Renian 7th, losing 5 positions since the start. A mighty, mighty disappointment from him. And Sebastian Gunther in 8th as he spun towards the end. Dominic Taxonyi gaining 2 positions from where he started in 11th and finishes 9th. And Ricardo Costa completes the top 10. And a very quick update from Hiri Kotochville, who was in the podium spot in 3rd very early into the race. Who unfortunately had a collision with Will McCone. We'll see how that turns out and what action will be taken or who's even at fault. But Hiri managed to go from essentially last to 11th, a very respectable recovery drive. So on top of that, Christian did the only 206 of the race, 206.9. And yeah, that was a very solid race with lots of twists and turns, and I can't wait to see what the next one stacks up like. So of course this next race is going to be a little bit longer. If you've watched this series before, you'd know that this first 15-minute feature, and not feature, this is a sprint. Sprint is first, and then a double-length feature, so half an hour of racing is due at 8 o'clock. So 2.5 minutes of warm-up, essentially. And people are going to be wanting to have a look into practice starts once again. And unfortunately, Rhino Burger is now unfortunately kicked from the server due to bad ping issue, unfortunately. That is a very big rest in peace. F in the chat for Rhino Burger. That was stacking up to be a very, very good welcome back. I'm gonna shut up. I need to come back when I figure out how to pronounce countries. I mean, I don't know what I didn't do European section in school. I don't know what you want from me, but it is what it is. But yeah, that was from Christian Kivovic's past quote about saying he doesn't have race pace, which was an utter lie. After he wins the race, being half sick. Yeah, like he's about to say something else in the Discord. I'm gonna see what he says. And it was just mentioning in T1 at the start, like it was there was a contact between him and Polyepry. You might want to rewind to watch that while you still have time. Like, of course, you can do it whenever you want, because this is if you're watching in post. Otherwise, in post, you probably wouldn't be listening to me in a warm-up, because this is where I just talk an everlasting mountain of shite. But in any case, if you're watching this in post, if you're watching the warm-up in post, then I very big respect. Pour my heart into this, whether it sounds like it or not. And yeah, we're about to go back racing. 5 seconds from now, more or less, we will be lined back up on the grid for the half-an-hour-long feature race as Polyepri avoided a narrow fate at the hands of Antonio Costa. Ricardo Costa. There's 2 Costas in either of our racing series at any given time. So, yeah, it's a bit tough to do. Muscle memory dictates what I say, otherwise, like Antonio is usually, I think Antonio runs more than Ricardo. Alright, so now anyway, one driver down is, unfortunately, Rhino Berger had been kicked. Passing on our condolences, we now line back up on the grid, where we notice a distinct hole in the midfield, where Rhino would have been supposed to be. Now it's Renian in front, Andy Darnell second, Brandt third, and Fotis fourth. With Will McCone fifth and Kubovic sixth, he now has a bit of a time to... Antonio Phantom jumps the start, and it's a little bit of a late start from Mikola Volinets. From Michael Coles in particular. Now 2 wide into turn 1. Kubovic is trying to find any little bit of grip he can to try to get past Melvin Brandt. He does. And then next car in front of him is Will McCone, who's... Will McCone has been trying to get past Christian Kubovic in front in the first feature in the sprint race. So let's see how he stacks up under defense, Will McCone. Keeping in mind that this has literally forever to figure out this race via pace. So nothing brash or nothing stupid needs to be done here. No heroics are needed into the hairpin. Speaking of which, it's coming on now. Let's see if I get to eat those words or not. Going into the hairpin, marking the end of the first sector. As Brandt goes wide and gets swallowed up by Sebastian Gunther, but side by side almost perfectly. Someone's going to have to yield if they want to get through there in one piece. As Fotis Isoglu is still in third place, keeping up with Matti Renian and Andy Darnell, keeping Renian behind, as he did, keeping up where he left off in the first race, essentially. So Will McCone, finishing second in the sprint race, is now sticking it up in fourth, as Fotis Isoglu is in third, Matti Renian second, and Andy Darnell is leading the race. Christian Kubovic, our last race winner, has gained 2 positions ever since this race start, and is now in 4th position as he overtakes Will McCone into the final section of the racetrack. Sebastian Gunther is trying to mount an attack on Melvin Brandt. This time he succeeds, as Renian is on the ends, trying to get a very, very big move. Very hopeful. Bit of a measuring contest there with Andy Darnell, but Darnell is unfazed as he maintains the lead. Will McCone's gone off, he's spun, and that was a very terrible rejoin indeed as he hits another car, rejoining the racetrack. That's very, very bad news for the PetrolHead SimRacing C team in the Gulf livery. This is going to be detrimental to the championship. Now Fotis Isoglu is trying to hold back Christian Kubovic. Solitary driver championship leader versus Fotis Isoglu. Let's see how long he can keep him behind. Hairpin's coming up, so let's see if Fotis Isoglu gives up a fight here or lets him pass on the inside line. He's defending now, and he's trying to catch up to Matti Renian and keep up with his teammate in first place, Andy Darnell. They're bumper to bumper here. Trying to avoid each other's dirty air, but I would have prioritized slipstream in a situation like this, if you ask me. Kimovic has got the better exit line. Exiting very smoothly, and he's in the direct toe of Fotis Isoglu as Isoglu is in the toe of Renian. But Christian might have the move. Christian doesn't get a move done very yet, but he's getting ever so closer, ever so slightly. He just seems to be that bit of an inch faster than Fotis Isoglu, and now he's weaseled his way into the inside line. Fotis Isoglu is on the outside. As Renian goes onto the left-hand side of the racetrack to try overtake Andy Darnell on the inside, as Fotis Isoglu is on the same principle. Very big shunt from Timo Reiter. Overcooks it very, very big. He's still rolling, his engine's still running, but that suspension doesn't look healthy at all. That's going to be torture to drive for 25 minutes. As Andy Darnell has finally gotten passed by Matti Renian. Or is it the end of it? Still trying to hold on. Now he's side by side with Fotis Isoglu, his teammate. 452 versus 453, as Fotis is starting to lose out on outside line. Christian Kimovic, very, very close racing. I think that touched twice onto the entrance, onto the hairpin. And that's Sebastian Gunther and Melvin Brandt having their fight just behind them. As Taxonia goes wide and loses out to Polyapparate. Christian still looking for a way past. He's being the best teammate that Andy's ever had in this point in time. Look at him as he boxes in Christian Kimovic, so he doesn't. He's trying to hold back a Christian, so he doesn't get anywhere near Andy Darnell, so he doesn't catch him. I don't know how much longer he can keep this up, but if Fotis can keep backing Christian up into Brandt, they might be able to stall his championship lead, or get a little bit closer to him in this circumstance. 23.5 minutes to go. Into the hairpin very shortly. Christian's going for it! Onto the inside. That was a very, very big scrape. You can see the marks on the left-hand side of the number 8 car. That was very, very vicious from Christian Kimovic. I don't think that would have been acceptable. That's certainly something I wouldn't have done in karting or in sim racing. That's for sure. I don't think that would have been really acceptable. As Fotis Isoglu and Christian are still fighting each other. I don't think that's Christian. No, it is. They're having a very, very big fight in the midfield at the minute, as Christian started to drop back. A special move, that you might call it, from Fotis' words. That number 8 is still, must be seething right now. He's still in P5 right now, as Melvin Brandt goes off the track, and P12, and he's lost out very, very much. And this is going to be something, a lifeline that the Gulf team and the C team are really hoping for this championship, to try to scrape anything back after they lose their front runner in the form of Will McCone. As Polyapri turns in on Christian Kimovic. Kimovic's car has been through the wars today. I'd be amazed if he still doesn't have damage of some sort. He definitely has aero damage somewhere. I'd be willing to bet a lot on that. But he's got 20 minutes to fix this. He's got 20 minutes to get back up to the leaders. He's proven he's got pace in that sprint race. At least 1 second faster than everyone else if he puts his head down, but I don't know what he's able to do with damage. Let's see what he's able to do, if he can catch back up to his teammates Taxonia in P6 as he's trying to catch Sebastian Gunther and Pauli Epri. As Waco Coles almost clips Tonio Phantom and doesn't hold his brake. Nearly killed another driver because of that. It's not great. Here Kurtashville is also trying to fight for position from Pauli Epri, but Paul gets the better of him as Kiri goes wide and Kubovic slips his way through. Christian has gotten his senses back together, he's back in the groove, and his next target is Pauli Epri in P6. So as I said, he's got 20 minutes to fix this, as Epri very, very squarely on that traction, and he's on the gravel. Look at him, he's losing so much speed, he's losing so many positions. That is detrimental once again to the championship, the Gulf liveries, and the other drivers in the championship. This is a team's championship as well. And Epri gets past McCone once more. McCone's trying to recover the best he can. He's got a while to fix this. And all the teams are in their respective trains. Maybe they can work together. Maybe they can just figure out some kind of way to work together to overcome the people in front of them. Or have they been setting up their wings too high to accommodate for a draft? Like in races like these where you're so close to your teammates, like you're optimizing yourself for a draft is the way done and right, and that is very, very nearly Bruno Machado unalived from very, very, very squarely car control that was very sketchy into the heavy braking zone. He nearly lost it into the wall and damaged his car. As Waku Coles spins out into the gravel near Sector 3. As Waku Coles unfortunately retires from the race. Citing, I don't know, I don't know what happened to him, he just got fed up, I guess. So 17th and last, Waku Coles unfortunately retires. It's definitely a day to forget for him. 18 minutes left to go. So there's been so much action packed into this feature race so far, usually contrary to most of the other endurance races I've had. But no, it's not time to stop because Pauli Epri's got him past. He's defending from Taxonia. And he's nearly gotten the exit speed on him, but Epri prevails. Taxonia was going to have to try again in another lap in that number 9 car. And Kubovic is coming back slowly but surely back into P5 after his scuffle with Fotis Issiglu. As Taxonia, the number 9 in P9, loses the positions now. As Gabriele Tapux passes him. No! Tapux got collected by Taxonia. That's very, very bad. Wonder what happened there. Was that some kind of unsafe rejoin? We'll have to see. We'll be hearing from the stewards on that one, that's for sure. Or maybe there's some unfortunate freak accidents. That's very, very unfortunate for Gabriele Tapux. He was just minding his own business, and that happened to him. Very, very unfortunate. Now it's up to Christian Kubovic to try get points home for himself and for PHSR Slovakia. Saxony in 11th, and Gabriele Tapux has dropped down to P12, 11th and 12th. Brought each other down in that last collision. That's kind of upsetting. But in any case, after Christian Kivovic goes over a few curbs, so it's very unsettling the car. I'm trying to find some kind of gap to try to tell you the top 10, but this is just far too action-packed to ever take a breath. Hardly. As Will McCone in P7 is getting very close to Hiro Kutashvili in P6. Might be a move happening soon. The recovery drive for the C team as Will McCone tries to make it on the outside, but here he's defending vigilantly. They're side by side on the exit. And someone's going to have to yield soon. But another fight that's happening at the minute is Christian Kibovic versus Sebastian Gunther. Now, this is the battle for P4. Maybe they can work together in some way. Or maybe Christian doesn't need the top. We'll see what moves he plans to take. One thing's for sure, he's going to have to cut out that aggression if he wants to get anywhere further into this race. That's not going to work against Fotis. He knows how to defend against someone like him. And definitely gave him a taste of his own medicine back into turn 1 there. So he's going to be deterred from trying something like that ever again. And that's not guaranteed, but that's how I'd imagine it. Now we cut back with Sebastian Gunther trailing behind Christian Kibovic as he loses the position on the start-finish straight. They both make it out of turn 1 back into the S's. Unscathed. So I think now would be an appropriate time to just remind ourselves of who's leading this race and by what margin. So Matthew Renian has been quietly picking up a bit of a lead from Andy Darnell, 1.5 seconds back. They're first and second respectively. So Fotis Isoglu is in third, maintaining where he was essentially from the first race. And Christian Kibovic is now catching, after a few setbacks, he's catching back up to the podium spots to try get a few more points in this drivers' championship. I'll try to secure for something for himself and his team. And try to bring it out of the ditch, you know. But I think the best team who's going to get the most points at this point in time, if they finished like this, is going to be the PetrolHead SimRacing B team. Like the one, like just for your information, that's where Andy Darnell, Fotis Isoglu, Melvin Brandt are all on the team. Just trying to get it equated. So that's the B team. Melvin Brandt is P9, but not out of the points. And Darnell and Fotis are now second and third, respectively. So this will be a very, very good banger of a round to have if they want to keep going after this team's championship. And the C team would have needed to catch a serious break, and Will McCone was definitely performing to try and get something like it. But between McCone and Iepri having accidents, unfortunately, they just couldn't make it happen today. And something I'm also surprised about is that there hasn't been any drive-through penalties yet. Like, people have been very, very good with track limits this race. I'm very impressed. And that's not within the track limits. Christian Kibovic goes off once again. He's starting to feel the pressure. He's lapsed in the worst way possible, deviating into the gravel trap and losing the position to Sebastian Gunther in P4, and now he's back to 5th. He's got 12 more minutes now. I never called out the halfway mark. Well, now there's effectively 1/3 of the race left to go. Having a look at Will McCone, he's trying to fight here Kurtachville once again, as Kurtachville gets a very, very poor exit out of the hairpin, where Will is able to capitalize on yet another position on his way back through carving the midfield. And Polyepri is sure to follow if here he doesn't do something. Sweeping left-hander. They're very, very close onto the backstretch. Andy's caught right back up to Mashi Renian. The battle for the lead is still on, hot. A hot 10 minutes left into the race. He's got the final third of the race to decide the title, the race win. Just as exciting though. In the start-finish race, Andy Darnell goes offensive back onto the racing line as Renian cuts back and goes over switchback. Doesn't quite make it work. He's trying to pressure Mashi Renian, I think. As he gets a bit squirrely himself, he's pressuring himself as much as he is Renian. He's trying to force him into any kind of mistake, keeping Renian on his toes. Renian is keeping cool, as it tends to be in Finland. Sandy Darnell's going to have to do a little bit more than that to get the race win. But it appears he definitely has. Indeed has more than that, so we'll have to see what he pulls out of his vast hat of tricks coming to the end of this race. Here Kurtachville is still trailing Will McCone. After he loses the position, he still hasn't lost out to Polyepri, but this is the corner he lost the position, and this is where he lost out the position last lap. But he appears to have done the exit a little bit better this time. He's holding Polyepri at bay. Back in P8, less than half a second separate them. Sebastian Gunther getting the toe. Trying to get as far ahead as he can before Christian Kipovic gets back up to him, but Christian has dropped back considerably. Here he's on the outside line, going into the hairpin. They're truly making it tooth and nail for this midfield position, and that is what racing is all about, keeping it close and keeping it clean. They are both side by side. So Will McCone and Polyepri have both lost out to Kurtachville. They're both starting to feel the pressure now. Coming to the later end of this race. And 7.5 left on the clock. Andy's caught right back up to Mashi Renian now, who used to be 7/10, now it's 4. Now it's 3. There's bumper to bumper, scope for the move here. As Renian actually deviated, tried to go a little bit offensive, trying to cover off Andy, but they're very, very close now. Sweeping left-hander, Andy seems to be on the better line, getting the better exit. And he also has the better top speed because of the toe, so let's see how he uses this now on the back stretch. Thinks about the inside line, but pulls back in behind Renian to get a little bit more of that sweet toe. As Gunther is also doing the same with Fotis Isoglu, but Kubovic is now getting a lot closer towards the end of this race. He might be able to catch up just in time towards the end for one final push, one final challenge at the podium to expand his collection of trophies of hardware in this championship. Sweeping all the way across the track to try accommodate and defend each other. Slight rubbing, but that's racing as Andy Darnell goes side by side with Matty Renian into the S's. Renian, someone's gonna have to hold up, and that is gonna be Andy Darnell, who pulls back for fear of damaging his car. Still, nothing stupid needs to be done here. There's 5 minutes left to go, and it's 6 minutes if you round it off, so there's no scope to do anything stupid. And that's a bit of advice that I wish I'd be able to tell Christian. That's polyampery going around as Hiri Kotatville and Melvin Brandt and more or less lots of the midfield and everyone now overtakes him as he DNFs with 5 minutes to go. Well, that's very unfortunate, and this will be detrimental to the championship. It's up to Sebastian now. Up to Gunther to try get past Fotis to try break up this B team 2-3 finish and try to scrape back some points for the C team. But there's Christian Kubovic for the PHSR Slovakia division, looming in the background, who's definitely got pace on both of them, so they're going to have to either work together or try overtake very quickly and try gain whatever distance they can before Christian gets closer. Four minutes and 20 left to go. Seb appears to have the better exit. He's going for the move. He's going ahead of Fotis on the inside line. Where's he going to go now in terms of Christian Kubovic? Christian is going to be staking it on the outside and the racing line, but he's not going to be following anyone through, namely Sebastian Gunther, as he loses out and doesn't have the grip or the speed to counter the racing line of Fotis. He's keeping it cool. And now Christian Kubovic is now back and fighting for the podium here tonight with very, very little time left to spare. Let's hope he doesn't feel the pressure as much as everyone else is. And we can forget about feeling the pressure. Let's not if he doesn't feel one person out. Taksani disconnects due to internet issues as he falls into the very vast void of under the map. Taksani, however, goes. That's Christian Kubovic almost getting around, but he doesn't. He needs to prioritize the exit. The moves doesn't happen around the outside, not this far up. He's going to have to figure out another way to get past. Taksani DNFs due to connection issues, unfortunately. Now it really is up to Christian Kubovic to fish out some points for the championship, for himself and for the team. Now, more than ever, he needs to pull something out of his hat. But he needs to be safer with these overtakes. He needs to be sure that it's going to stick. Like, chancing everything isn't going to land you much. Like, he needs to be absolutely sure. He needs to calculate as volleying in the second sector. Unfortunately spins off, but he doesn't damage anything or lose any positions. But going back to the front, Christian Kubovic is definitely going to be hungering. He's definitely going to be trying to sort something out in these coming laps. Hiri Kotatville is still fighting with Mil McCone. This is the battle for P7 now. And Hiri's the one defending. Sebastian's trying to find a way past Fotis now for a very, very long amount of time. But it's going to be up to Christian now to try and capitalize on them both tripping each other over and perhaps stealing it for himself. But he's been far too aggressive. He needs to take a calmer approach, a more calculated approach, and something that will ensure his success. "60 seconds on the dot left to go." And Kubovic is starting to mess up where it counts now. He's going to need a lot more than toe to make this gap back up. He's going to need a miracle. As Christian goes wide onto the final court, onto that sweeping right-hander, it goes over the curbs. I'm not sure whether or not this is going to be the final lap, because there's not much time left in it. This will be the final lap. But now, we get to see Matti Raikkonen cross the line. And first, as he wins the feature race of Suzuka. But now it's up to Andy Darnell to go into second and take second place for his team. As Fotis Isoglu takes third, it's a 2-3 for the B team. As Sebastian Gunther in fourth takes it home for the team for a very good points finish. And P4 as Kubovic loses out in fifth. As Melvin Brandt, a few seconds back, is still trying to sort out his position. Brandt in sixth, finishes as in sixth. That's his full name, Brandt in sixth. You can forget about his first name. That's his legal name now, Brandt in sixth. But in any case, Hiri Kratachville managed to fend off Will McCone in eighth, as Bruno Machado comes home in ninth, and Timo Reiter nabs a nifty top 10 for his team, as Gabriele Tapbooks comes home in P11 ahead of Volley-Nets in P12, Tonya Phantom P13, and Daniel Jones comes home 14th and last at the finishers, with Taksonyi, Polyeperi, Wackelcoles, and Rhino Berger all retiring due to connection issues or damage or otherwise. But that was an incredible race. I had a lot of fun commentating it. But it's not over just yet, because we're going to have a few post-race interviews. So stick around, because we'll be able to see a few people's opinion on what happened in their race. And we'll get to see what happened in terms of what was going through their head in a few collisions. I'd like basically just whatever happened. So I'd stick around for you. I'll send out a ping for everyone to come and join, and everyone else, I'll be talking to people very shortly, so don't go anywhere. Okay, so I think I'll just get on with the post-race interviews now. So I'd like to hear from Hiri first, because apparently he's in a hurry. So, Hiri.
So in race 1, I had contact with Paul, which sent me into the wall. Happy with the car survived it with no damage basically, but I lost so much time with that.
Right, that was definitely a heartbreaking race one.
Yeah, from the podium to the was basically like I said, like, what are you doing or something like in my like memory or some on my mind basically. And
Right.
simply that was ridiculous. He didn't leave me space at all, even when I was there.
That's very unfortunate. We'll have to see what the stewards say about that.
And in race 2, like when Paul
In race
and
2,
then
you're... Hmm?
and then he spins and I tap him accidentally. So yeah, that's how he ended his race by accident. Like I couldn't do anything about his end of the race.
Okay, that's very unfortunate, unfortunately. So of course in race 2 you're fighting Will a lot in the midfield. It was a very good battle. It was very entertaining. Do you think that you could have lost out if Will had one more lap, or do you think you were faster?
He was faster than me. I couldn't hold it anymore. I was worried I'll spun out again in the airplane.
Yeah. So anyway, you had a few bad moments, but you also had your fair share of good moments as well to balance it out. Is there anything else you'd
Yeah,
like to add?
yeah, I had a very great start in both races. Basically, I gained already like 2 places per start, basically.
Yeah, like those race starts were something.
And yeah,
But
and when I was fighting with Melvin in race 2, I simply went wide a little bit, and when I come back, he already overtook me, and it was over. And then, like in sector 2, I was in the air and was there and almost and simply lost him definitely. So only
right.
chance to get great result was to keep Will McComb behind me.
Yeah, clearly. So is that all, or would you like to say anything else?
Yeah, that's all I think.
Okay, thank you, Huey, for your time. And I hope you guys heard you're in a hurry, so you better
Yeah,
run off and do whatever you need to do.
yeah, second dinner still. So and maybe I come for the replay back if it will be there.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. Thank you for your time, Huey. And next up, we'll have Andy Darnell.
Hello, Michael.
You did very, very well in that second race. Tell us all about it. You were fighting very close with Renian at one point, but you started to drop back after a point.
Yeah, I didn't really have the pace to be in that position in the race. It was only thanks to the reverse grid that I was there. But yeah, I mean, he made a few mistakes. He was struggling with turn 1 an awful lot. He went off 3 times at turn 1, and that was the only reason I caught up with him every time. So no, he had the pace on me, but I'm very happy with P2. It was unexpected.
Yeah, of course. You definitely, in the first race in particular, you were definitely working to try keep Renian behind amongst other people. And even Seb in the first race, like you defending incredibly well, and it definitely comes to show what you can do in terms of defense when you're not playing on the same team, you know?
Yeah, I had my 2 teammates ahead, and yeah, I was doing my best to keep them behind. Bit of aggressive defending. Sebastian and me had some good fun battles there. I enjoyed that. Overall, both races for me were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, you're saying that your 2 teammates were ahead of you, and you're trying to keep everyone back. Fotis definitely did the same. Fotis and Melvin tried to do the same for you in race 2, and it
we got
definitely
each other's
showed.
backs. It was great. Yeah, Fotis was holding everybody up in race 2, and I managed to do it in race 1. That's teamwork. We did well.
You seem to be pretty confident in this team's championship.
Yeah, we're streaking ahead. It's looking promising. Anything can happen. It's motorsport.
Absolutely. You're not wrong. So, of course, you've had a very entertaining race and a plethora of great results. Is there anything I've missed?
No, just a big thank you to everybody that's turned up. Me and Renault had an absolutely epic battle in race 2. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Side by side throughout all 3 the S's was great, respectful racing. So kudos to him. That's good.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for your time, Andy. And
Thank
I'll
you for
see you around.
commentating as always.
No problem, man. So, of course, next up we'll have Photosystiglu.
Hello, Michael.
Hey there, Photos. So, let's go to the chase. Second race, and you and Christian were fighting. What happened between you two after that dive bomb?
He made an illegal overtake outside of the track. He made a crazy dive on hitting on the inside. Couldn't make the turn, go outside of the track, make an illegal overtake, and he delivered the position back after in the start-finish line on the straight. Good that he did that because it is the correct thing to do. But yeah, that movie wasn't so good.
Yeah, in the first race, explain to us what happened in the first race. Like, of course you were ahead. Of course you were holding the enemy cars back in the second race, but while Andy was holding the fort at the rear in the first race,
Yeah,
you were fighting quite a lot. Like you managed to get third in the end. Do you think this is a surprise to you, or what was going through your head?
you are speaking for me that I finished third.
Yeah, just third. Like you got third place towards the end.
Yeah. Actually, both races I was in the third position. First race, Andy helped me and kept all the competition back to have a safe room and make it until the end in third place. And second race, I was trying to catch Andy. I saw that he had great pace. I saw him that he was catching Renault. I didn't want to start a fight with Andy and make him losing time to he's trying to catch Renault. So I stay a little bit behind to return the favor of race one to keep the competition back. At that point, I must say a big thank you to Sebastian, because we have a hard battle in the second race, but I think he was faster than me. At least his pace to me looked faster. I don't know if it was the slipstream or actually it was. I think it was, but he didn't force any move. He kept it very clean. It was a very hard battle. Actually, I'm stoked right now. And I want to say again a big thank you to Sebastian. He is an amazing driver and he kept it clean.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Photos.
You're welcome, Michael. A big thank you also to you for your time and effort to commentate. And I want to say also, I hope the viewers enjoy the races, and congratulations to everybody that attended and finished the race.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Michael. Good night.
Good night. So I suppose, Gabriele, would you like to say something, or would you like to stay quiet? no problem if you don't want to say anything. Just stay muted. You have 5 seconds to blurt out if you want to have an interview. Okay, that's no problem, Gabriele. Moving on. Like, there's no problem at all. But next up, I suppose I'll talk to Melvin Brandt.
Hello, Michael.
So Melvin, that was in race, in a few of those races, and the second race in particular, he ended up having a massive incident, and you dropped back into the midfield. What was the recovery drive like? Was it clean?
It was very clean. It was good battles between Will McCona and Jiri. And when I got up, they both made mistakes, and I got through pretty easy. But it was a good ride after a spin in lap 2 or 3, I think it was.
Right. Do you think you'll have... So, of course, this wasn't one of the best days for you. But, of course, you're definitely on the winning team for the constructors. So you're definitely doing your part for points. You feeling confident for the constructors?
Yeah, I think when I spun, I just thought I just need to get the most points I can. Just try to do quali lap after quali lap, and it worked this time.
Yeah, certainly you managed to put off a very good recovery drive. So in terms of race 1, what was the fight like between... Like, of course, you were running miles ahead with your teammates up in race 1 while Andy was holding the fort. Do you think you could have caught... I can't remember who finished where.
I think Fotis got 3rd and I got 4th. I don't think I could have gone higher because I didn't have the pace at the end. Just made a few mistakes and lost quite a bit of time. But Fotis was really quick at the end. Congratulate him to the 3rd place.
He'll have the pace to try to get a podium another podium at some point. So, like, good luck to you for the next rounds. So,
yeah, thanks.
Of course, you've had a very eventful race, varying results, if you know what I mean. Is there anything I missed?
No, I don't think so.
All right, Melvin. If there's anything else you'd like to say, like to the guys at home, or do you think you'll call it a night because it's pretty late?
I just want to thank you for the commentating and thank everyone who finished the race and was clean.
All right, I can agree with you on that. Like, for the most part, it was pretty clean. But if to whom it may concern, you need to be more patient. But in any case, thank you so much, Melvin, for the interview. I appreciate your time. So, with that, we have one guy left, and I mean, one voice left to interview, and then Christian Kibovic, our race 1 winner, has I'll try to piece together a few of his sentences he sent in the Discord, and then try to make an interview out of that, because it's a nice insight into him. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Mikula, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, hello. Actually, not much to say. Quite disappointing race result, actually. Race 1 was going pretty alright. I was like P12 or something. Made a mistake, hit the wall. P16 it is. Race 2 was better. Swapped positions with Timo because he was quicker, and he actually finished P9, I think. And I got P11, so it's points, but I expected better.
Mikula, I think someone spun ahead of you and you got collected, resulting in you getting plummeted down the order. Who was it?
Yeah, there was something like that. I think it was beginning of the race 2. Someone spun, if I don't remember correctly, at chicane. Oh, not at chicane, at hairpin. But I don't remember what it was.
It was at the sweeping left-hander. Like someone tried to make an unsafe rejoin.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general, race was good.
Yeah, the race was very entertaining. Like hardly got a breath. I hardly got a breather there. So, in any case, Mikola, like, you definitely had a very exciting few races. Is there anything I missed?
No, not really. I mean, good race overall. Thank you for everyone that showed up. Thank you for commentating, and yeah, I think that's it.
Alright. So, Mikola, thank you so much for your time. So that was Mikola Volynets. And I think one thing I should mention is like this won't be an actual interview, but I'm just gonna relay a few things that Christian, our first race winner, were saying. Like his like, nah, I better not. But so that means I think that I'll just leave it. I'll just leave the interviews for now. I think we've had enough people. But yeah, I think I'll just sign off for now. I'll just leave a bit of a debrief, my personal notes in the race, I'd imagine. It was very, very action-packed at Japan this evening. Not a moment to spare where I couldn't come up for air. I couldn't come up for air at all during those last few races. It was so exhilarating, and there was not any drought of action to be found. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. It was really, really exhilarating, and I hope you'll be back for round 4. Let me check for the track. Round 4 will be at internet is terrible. Hockenheim Grand Prix. So round 4 at Hockenheim next week at Monday. Be there, and I'll see you there.